Welcome everyone to another episode of What's Up Mainframe. I have used the words I'm excited, I'm happy, and now I must say that this is going to be quite an experience because we get to interview one of the notorious colleagues here in Broadcom, Brian Jagos. Brian, welcome.
Thank you, thank you. I don't know notorious, but I've earned a rep at times.
Yeah, a bit of a rep. I mean, you know, the requests you make, the kind of testing you do, I mean, it's all valuable, but, you know, oh no, there's a message from Brian. Oh, what do we have to do now? Anyway, Brian, specifically, what do you do here at Broadcom?
Well, what I do here at Broadcom is multi-phased. I'm technically called a technical consultant, so I work in the field, I work with customers, I help them install the products, I help them configure, get everything going, show them how to use a lot of the products, and also I try to make all the things people like this guy right here say come true, you know, at the customer. So, and then that's in the field side, but then back in the office, I'm always working with people like Lukash, with yourself, with the R&D teams, because we try to install it in firsthand, try to play with the products.
So that's what you do. How long have you been doing this?
Well, I started IT over 35 years ago, so I've been in the mainframe industry for over 35 years. I've been with Computer Associates /CA/ Broadcom for 27 years.
Okay.
So, and my career has gone in different directions. I've done systems programming, I've done application development, I've worked on the ZOS side of the house, I worked on the ZVM side of the house, the Linux on System Z side, which happens to come into great play with the modernization, with the DevOps.
Exactly. So with our previous episodes, we've covered a lot of the app dev experience and what our solutions are doing to make developers' lives easier.
Yep.
We've also kind of gone into the kind of infrastructure setup and the things related to pipelines and even platforms that are used to facilitate a lot of what our solutions do. Mm-hmm. So where have you seen modernization go? Because things have been modernizing for a long time, really, right?
Correct.
And what excites you most about where we are today?
Well, what excites me is the new interfaces. Things like a VS Code with all the extensions that our teams have worked on, between things like Bridge for Git, for the Endeavor extension, debugging, fault analyzing. All these make life easier. Now, I mentioned over 35 years, I can make ISPF sing, but I've also been using VS Code now more and more. I'm able to install applications using VS Code alone on the mainframe. So, you know, the old expression, you know, teaching an old dog new tricks. And I find it exciting and I find it great when I see people like myself turn around and see these extensions and go, wow, look what we can do now. Because it's that one pane of glass that I can come in, double click, or I can sign on using a web if I'm going through something like a cloud IDE, like Strong Network.
Yep.
And I have everything right there for me. Because that makes my job so much easier as a developer. And also, even as a system programmer, it makes life easier for them helping out the developers.
Certainly. You mentioned how in your role, one of the primary focuses is helping people get things set up.
Yeah.
And that very often that's when the interplay between you guys and us comes into effect, because that initial experience is kind of hard to nail down.
Yep.
It's hard to get things set up when you've got different roles, maybe even people on the distributed side of an organization and on the mainframe side of the organization, and if they have to communicate. So obviously you've been helping with this strong network setup and the workshop environment. So can you tell us a little bit about the kind of the dichotomy of doing that traditional help of setting things up, but also having this tool at your disposal to show people what it all can look like once everything is set up together?
Why, sure. Normally, first off, when you're setting up things like products like a VS Code with extensions, a lot of companies today do not allow
Yes.
the developers or anyone to install on their laptops because they're corporate laptops. And, there's the whole big legal stuff that, everyone's got to deal with. So once they get the okay and they have to go through the proper channels, yes, we can do that. But this could take months for them to get the okay. And then each extension might have to go through getting the okay. So, this takes time, and you really don't want to pull the momentum away from an excited customer that is turning around and wanting to modernize. So using something like a cloud IDE, such a strong network, is fantastic, because what we could do with the customer, and we have actually hands-on workshops where we can spin up an environment in seconds because it's a container. All they do is sign on, they go into their container, and right there they have their VS Code. And they have on the back end, it could be connected to a mainframe, or it could be connected to a ZD&T box, which could be, again, on the cloud. It could all be secured, contained, and locked down. Now, this opens up the environment now for new coming developers or new customers who are wanting to modernize to really get excited, because they can play in this environment and they can see all the benefit hands-on. And we have these actual workshops that help them walk through a lot of this. So it accelerates the process tenfold, because now they get to go back and put more pressure on management, saying, hey, if you want happy developers, we need stuff like this. And also, from the management side, by using the Cloud IDE, they could set this same environment up in their shop, behind their firewalls, totally safe. They don't have to worry about developers installing stuff on their laptops. They have a web link sign-in.
Yep.
And it's a controlled environment. They can move twice as fast.
I liked your point about how much value, obviously, developers can get from trying in this strong network environment, and how management can see what it could be. And actually, management in some of the workshops, as I understand, have actually gotten their feet wet and tried it as well, and also immediately realized, yeah, this is probably the way to go.
Oh, exactly. We did a workshop in Asia, and we actually had some of the heads of the IT departments working in the workshop, and they were totally stunned that they could do this and it could be spun up so quickly and easily. So they're bringing that back to their shops.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So can we jump in and take a look at what this workshop environment is and play?
Of course. Anytime you want, you can contact your Broadcom rep, and we can set this up. We can do it on almost a moment's notice, but I'd say give us a couple days.
Yeah. But in this case, for the podcast, we'll look at it now.
Yes, sure. Definite.
To follow suit from our previous discussion, I am now going to walk you through accessing a network setup. Like, for example, this would be strong network. It could be anything that you happen to be using. So basically, the point we're trying to say here is you need a URL. So in our case, your web browser, and in my case, I'm using Chrome. And if you notice, it's a logon.broadcom.com. And here, I'm going to put in a username. Anyone can do this. We can set up a demo. We can set up a workshop for any customers whenever they need it. So I sign in, and at this point, what happens, it's bringing me into a container where I can now access my secure access cloud. So here's when I click on this, and what that's going to do is that's going to bring up a portal, whereas you can see you can have different containers. And in this case, I'm going to take the MSD workshop, and I can have different workspaces set up. So what I want to do is I want to show you, you can click on things like Code for Z, and you can have many different workshop exercises set up in here. And as you can see, we do already. We have things or items like Code for Z, which would be basically there to help you walk through and understand our products for application development. So you would be able to access COBOL code, you'd be able to access things like language support and walking through code, debugging code. So you have items like that. Gen, so you'd be able to walk through and generating code and creating it through Gen. Test for Z, so you'd be able to do testing on your COBOL programs or sections of your COBOL programs, and it's on pause, so I can click run. Now, the nice thing about this is we can create these workspaces on the fly, and we could create whatever is needed to help suit your needs as a client or for a demo and things like that. So what happens at this point is I'm in VS Code, and this is all part of the container. And if you notice, we can turn around and we have the extensions, so we can add extensions as needed. But this one here is code for Z. So as you can see here, I'm in the Explorer window right off the bat, and here's a list of my directories and files on this system. As you can see here, I have source control, so I have Git on here. I have debug, which is intertest on here already. I have Abend Analyzer, which is SimDump, and Explorer for Endeavor. So that's all here. Plus I have Zoe Explorer on here to access the mainframe. So what's nice about that is, as you can see, I have my environment set up, and these are all in containers. So by using the container, I can turn around and we have actual scripts that you can walk through. And once you do that, you can actually start getting benefit from one of these workshops. So in this case, if you notice, I have a folder here called scripts. So I turn around, I expand it out. So I can turn around and do a VS Code change and test a PDF. But I can also do a VS Code workshop setup, or I can do a dump reading. So as you can see, each workshop could be set up for your particular needs. You could set up a workshop for file manipulation, where we would be using the products out there to help you do that. You could actually set up a workshop where you're making changes, pushing them to Git, and then having them turn around and go to Endeavor through Bridge for Git. But in our case, I'm going to click on VS Code changes and test workshop. That's going to open up, if you notice, that's going to open up a PDF. And as you can see, what we do at this point is we tell you about the startup and about walking through it. Okay, we explain all the screens, and as you can see here, that my Explorer kind of matches what I have on the left. And we're going to show you that that we have editing a Jagos application in the Windows Explorer. So we're going to open the Jagos folder. So I'm going to close this folder, open the Jagos, and I'm going to open COBOL. And as you can see at this point, I have a COBOL listed out. So if I scroll down, as you can see, we turn around and we map everything out for you. We try to make this as easy as possible. So what we're going to do here is we're going to quote, the next step is we're going to turn around and we're going to open the COBOL program. So at this point, I'm going to open the COBOL program. And as you can see here, I get my linting and I get all the COBOL listing out. I even get a little brief outline over here. And if I click on outline, as you can see, here is your COBOL program outline. Now, I'm not going to go through all this because this is, a bunch of changes. So, I'm going to open it to the side. As you can see here, we can turn around and walk through, and we will give you the instructions, copy a block of code. So if I go down to line 59, we are going here to the Jingo dog, and we're saying copy it, and we're going to say paste it after 61. And then we're going to say to make changes, we're going to change Jingo to Husky. So we're telling you what to do. So we give you a walkthrough step by step. And this gives you the capability of actually getting a taste of working in a secured environment, working in a container, working through your web browser, turning around and accessing your code. And we have multiple test scenarios. I just happened to show you this case. If you remember before, when I was on this previous screen, when I did the drop down, we have scenarios: Gen, Test for Z, DB2 tools, Watchtower. All these are set up in containers already. All you have to do is contact your rep from Broadcom, and we can set this up for you.
Thanks, Brian, so much for joining us and taking us through kind of your career, your role, what's exciting, and especially the workshop environment, because I really think this is another game changer that we offer and can bring value to other organizations immediately.
Yep. Thank you, Zach. It's a pleasure being here.
Always.
It's always a joy.
Yeah.
Hopefully you'll see me again.
Well, undoubtedly I'll receive requests, and
yes.
this is a problem. But I relish the opportunity.
It'll be fun. Again, thank you.
Fun, yeah. Okay. Yeah, good. You cut it there.
Cut.